Welcome to the Astute Prosperity Podcast with your host, John Wei. Join us as we interview successful business owners and professionals, uncovering the strategies that fuel their personal, professional, and financial success. Discover what it takes to thrive.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Astute Prosperity Podcast with John Wei. So today we have the pleasure to have Erin join us today from all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Today we'd love to learn a little bit about Erin's story, real estate story, and hopefully our audience can take away some learnings from our chat today. So Erin, thank you so much for being on the call today.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So we always these calls, just like I mentioned, is really to share like a little bit about where you came from. Tell us a little bit about your story and your real estate story, where you are now.
Okay, let's see. I got involved with REIN, the Women's Real Estate Investing Network, back in 2023. Probably the most common phrase of anyone who joined that mentorship is my last month was, because a lot of people don't re-up. So I've met a lot of great contacts in it. My business partner was in REIN, but again, it was like, when's your last month? When's your last month? That's everybody's general synopsis of that. And then we met some people through REIN, and we would have not connected if it was not for that. And we had met January of 2024 in a different real estate mentorship group called REI Volt.
Mhm.
And since then, some of the members have left, but the people in that group were in sub 2. And so we were kind of learning a different side of real estate, one that was a little more business oriented.
Yep.
REIN was more of a good education for what real estate investing was and the different types of real estate investing, but not necessarily how to run a business.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we met in that. I'm very much the creative person, the visionary. I'm not great with, sitting in a desk and doing spreadsheets, accounting, that sort of thing. So I do have one property, an Airbnb in North Georgia, with a business partner I met through REIN, Georgia, and she's an accountant. So we kind of, have our different roles in that business, which has been great. We've had that for almost 2 years now.
Nice.
And then my current business partner is a commercial real estate attorney.
Mm.
So I'm definitely finding the yin to my yang as far as partners go, and the
Yeah.
people that have the other skills that I know I am not good at.
Yeah. No, that's a great partner to have. Those are great partners to have.
So that's kept me organized and work out some of the integrator roles. So my current partner now, she's very type A. She's a thinker. So she was the kind of person that's gonna like look at the spreadsheet, relook at the spreadsheet, and just kind of hang out there looking at numbers. So when we got together, I'm like, well, the numbers work. Why would we not do something? So that combination, has worked really well.
Yeah.
So I had another partner that I did private money lending for, who was investing in Macon. And ultimately, instead of reinventing the wheel, we started with our first 3 houses together in Macon. And now we have 8, and it has been quite the learning experience. We have had
Nice.
a lot of different things going on in one little city. And we've got houses from D neighborhoods to housing that's right up next to the grad school at Mercer University. So one extreme to the other. We have dabbled in co-living in a not core co-living area, which probably didn't work more so because of the neighborhood. So, we've pivoted a lot with the things that we're doing there. We pivoted from long-term rentals to Section 8, and we've pivoted from some long-term rentals to group type homes. And then now we're going to do some housing for the grad students.
Mm, mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's been educational. It's been entertaining. We had people near our one property that was in kind of a bad area. Before we got into the house, we got a hot water heater stolen, which I just picture, guys like carrying it down the street because they did have a market on that street sometimes.
Okay.
So, they kind of befriended our acquisitions manager and who acts as our property manager there and doing some work around the house. They're like, yeah, we're just waiting for you guys to get the house done so we can move in. And we're like, great, we'll just make it a pad split. We'll do co-living. All these people can just move right in. It'll be seamless. It'll be awesome. And then you kind of just find out that people that live on the street tend to live on the street for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So every other week when they're like, I'm moving in next week, boss, I'm moving in next week, never really happened.
Yeah.
So we pivoted. We did at one point have 3 different people living there, co-living, who needed at the time. 2 were more temporary. Now I think we're also going to change that to Section 8. And what's nice with pad split is the one gentleman that's living in the house, they can redirect him, to another house in the area.
Mhm, mhm,
So he'll still have a place to go.
mhm.
And we've learned way more than we would have liked to about insurance,
Mhm.
how much it costs, and how they look at your roof. Unexpectedly, we've had to replace a
Oh,
roof,
wow.
or we've gotten a roof exemption on something that we previously had examined. And, you just wouldn't learn this stuff had we not taken action and actually did it.
Yeah, for sure. It just all these things started to pop up though, right? To learnings.
Yeah, learning. And then it's a plumbing issue over here. And, luckily we have a property manager who has been very frugal and very tight with our numbers for our construction.
That's good. Yeah, that's
And then
important.
we always kind of buffer in a little extra because you never know. Luckily we're doing the 2 big projects we have. We're doing so much construction that there's not a lot left to be surprised about that we weren't going to change.
Hmm.
But then if we decide we want to do nicer countertops or nicer finishes, then we know we have money. But then, another house shows up with a plumbing leak. Will you take that extra 5 or 6,000 for nicer finishes and end up putting it over there? But it's been nice. We've been in a place that we're not having to come out of pocket a lot.
Right, right. Mm.
And we had a lot of lender issues. We started out with a broker. The first 3 properties we're going to get, who was referred by an agent. And she kind of kept stringing us along. But if you said anything about it, then she would, fire back at us like, okay, you got it handled. And then I think a few days before closing, we weren't supposed to, but got an email that they weren't going to do the deals
Oh,
for
wow.
us. They sent us the email instead of the broker. So it left us scurrying. And then, I was a part of a private money deal where my friends got scammed by a
Mm.
mobile home park
Oh, wow.
scammer. So as we're going through the process with a hard money loan to buy, to get money to buy these properties, I'm in a fractional lending deal that goes south. And while it was in the process of, my buyers getting out of it, they put a foreclosure notice
Oh, wow.
on our businesses. So here we are applying for a loan, and then I have like a foreclosure notice pop up.
Oh my God.
And obviously it was not my foreclosure, but at the time it wasn't something that it took like a good month to get it handled.
Yeah.
So then we couldn't do the loans. We ended up coming out of pocket for our first 3 deals.
Oh my God.
And then we have DSCR'd them and, gotten most of our money back. And then we've taken the money we've gotten back and we flipped it, consecutively into the 8 properties that we have. But
Nice.
we've
Yeah.
learned a lot about lenders. We've learned a lot about, when they say, oh, we're just going to underwrite the property, and you've got to give them your left arm and your firstborn. And
Yep. Yeah. So, but you guys were able to pivot and learn from those experiences. So that's all, That's all great, right?
The name of the game is the pivot. I mean,
Yeah.
and still doing it, then we had an eviction. So that was, you got to sit and wait, you just got to wait for the courts, wait for your time to come. Then, when you get in there, our real estate agent calling us and she's like, every time I drive by that house, I'm just so mad. There's trash out in the yard and I know there's
Oh.
trash in your house. And you're like, okay, well, we'll just pray and, wait until we can get them out.
Yep, yep. Um, so actually, Erin, like, what did you do before getting into real estate? Like, what's your full-time career?
So before that, I was in the mortgage industry for 10 years.
Ah, okay.
I was in, and then right before the collapse, I was at IndyMac Bank as an underwriter.
Oh, wow.
And,
Okay.
we could see the writing on the wall. And then one day, they came to us and they're like, it's just a matter of time until we all don't have jobs. So then we,
Wow.
waited for that. And then I got into medical equipment sales, which I loved. I didn't
Mhm.
realize how miserable I was sitting in an office
Yeah.
until I wasn't. And I was like, this is what life is about, being out on the road,
Yeah.
setting your own schedule, talking to people all the time.
Yeah.
And then it just ended up that I was driving so much doing that, didn't realize like how hard that was on you. So I started
Yeah.
doing construction. So love that. Same thing, out talking to people. I liked measuring and putting plans together, taking people's empty basements, unfinished, and making them beautiful spaces.
Hmm.
So by the time I was considering real estate, I was like, what do I do with this hodgepodge of knowledge of being a salesperson, having some mortgage background, having some construction background? So the real estate industry seemed to fit that.
Yeah.
And we're in a growing phase. And my partner and I've been a fitness instructor too
Oh,
forever.
wow. Nice.
So my partner and I, that's something that, she was working on that we decided to work on together at the beginning of the year. So we also have joined a supplement network marketing business
Okay.
that has a lot of holistic supplements that help, with inflammation and weight loss and
Hmm.
complexion and hormones and all those fun things that we deal with as we get older, and
Nice.
energy and brain fog, the things that we struggle with as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's awesome. Wait, so
So,
so from this point going forward, what uh in the real estate world, like, where do you foresee you and your partners going?
well, we just joined a mentorship called Super Investors with run by Michael Manatsakanian. He's an owners club under Sub 2 with Pace Morby.
Okay.
And so we signed up with him to help us scale our real estate business.
Mm,
We're getting into co-living more in Atlanta. We actually just got out of a contract on the house because the more we dug into some things in the house, we realized it was going to cost us a lot more money. So just yesterday we pivoted again and said, nope, we don't want to get into something that's going to cost us way more money than we had planned.
right.
And our ideas for co-living are more of a plus style living. We're not about shoving 10 or 12 rooms in one house.
Hmm.
So what others can do didn't work for us. So we decided to
Hmm.
get out of that. So we would like to scale that as we build our supplement business. And, we're trying to help coach some others that are either just stuck with their health or stuck in their business.
Hmm.
So we have a VA, we're revamping some things with the VA and what we're having this person do and how they're going to help us. And then
Hmm.
we're also looking at some ops help as far as a top-down structure and CRM, which we don't have yet, to help us kind of help the different pieces of our business communicate better
Hmm.
and keep us more organized, because we're at the limit of what we can take now. And we, with our plans of scaling, we know that we need more structure, help, and
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
op support.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I mean, you know, all these things that you have done, and then joining. Um, and this is like what I have done too in the past is just uh, surrounding show. You pay for proximity, right? So you pay for the knowledge and the proximity of getting yourself in the room with people that are more advanced than you, that have the experience to help you scale, right? To help you
Yeah.
solve your current bottleneck. So that's really awesome. Um, Now, would you say, with all these things that you had the experience to, or the pleasure to experience in the real estate world in the past, few years, what would you say, if you were to meet someone, actually, I'll say just say that if you were to meet yourself, let's
Mm.
say 4 years ago, what's the best advice that you could give to yourself when you first started in the real estate world?
Gosh, 3 or 4 years ago. It's funny that one of our coaches kind of just did a mentorship meeting talking about,
Hmm.
like, I'm just telling you what I would tell my younger self,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly.
I want
Yeah.
to try to prevent you from making some of the same mistakes or just knowing that it's okay.
Hmm.
Gosh, telling myself a few years ago would be, you can do so much more than you think you can.
Hmm.
You deserve this and you're worth it. And you got to put that fear aside and take action.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that probably goes to a lot of listeners and a lot of individual investors that are sort of fearful to stay in their sidelines, right? To and then maybe some people are analysis paralysis, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like my business partner, and finding, really the opposite personality to you
Hmm.
is super helpful in this type of business. And then it leads to other growth. Like obviously my personality of, it's cool, whatever, we got it, the numbers work, let's go. It can be difficult for someone who's an analyzer to deal
Hmm.
with as well. So
Hmm.
then, obviously these personalities work from a business perspective, but it's taken less a lot of work and communication
Hmm.
to build a relationship and communicate with those two very different personalities. So
Yeah, for sure.
the growth has been priceless from a personal standpoint.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Um, Erin, what would be a book recommendation? Like
Oh
the best
gosh.
book that you can think of to recommend for our audience.
Recently I have read Let Them by Mel Robbins,
Hmm.
and I just have not found anything that compares. I feel like it fits for business, but it fits for people in life. And I liked Mel Robbins anyway, but it really just breaks down how we as humans want to control situations and how we can stress ourselves out so much over trying to control things,
Hmm.
and really working on letting it go, letting people do what they're going to do, be who they're going to be, and focus on you, and how
Hmm.
that can really just free you in life, not only business.
Hmm. Hmm. That's awesome. That's actually a great, great book recommendation. We'll be
Have you
adding
read it
that.
yet?
I have not. I'm actually going to be adding that to my daily walks book
Yeah,
list.
in the first 10 minutes, I was like, this book is game changing in the first 10 minutes. I sent it to a friend. I was like, you've got to listen to this. And I'm a listener like you. If I sit and read, I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah,
So
same here.
Audible, Blinkist, all those things have been like my savior.
Yep, that's right. I go on my daily walks every day. I need my books or my audiobooks.
Perfect. Yes.
Um, well, thank you so much, Erin, for joining us this morning, and sharing with the audience and all of your learnings and your endeavors and your learning, your all of these challenges and things that you have personal experience. I'm sure there's a lot of takeaways and learnings from our conversation today. Um, if our audience were to want to get a hold of you, to maybe just talk shop or potentially even partnership or what have you, or have questions, how did they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can always find me on Facebook or Instagram. And then my email address is just my name at Gmail.
Okay. Um, and then what's your handle on Instagram?
My Instagram handle is just my name, 1313.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Erin. Really appreciate your time today, and the best of luck to you in your projects, and we'll probably see each other somewhere down the line.
Yeah, sounds good, John. I'd like to get in touch with you again and hear more about your story as well.
Thank you so much, Erin. Appreciate
All
it.
right, thanks.
Thank
All right,
you.
we'll talk soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
You've been listening to the Astute Prosperity Podcast. Want to be featured on the show? Head over to astuteprosperitypodcast.com/guest and apply to share your success story with our listeners.